It may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to a very warm Djuma private game reserve. There's rain in the air, there's fresh leopard tracks on the road, and this is Safari Live. Ready.
Standing by.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
Welcome to a very warm and muggy Djuma private game reserve. My name is Brent, and we have our wandering cameraman Jandre back from his adventure in the Masai Mara. He looks a bit skinnier than when he left, so hopefully we'll fatten him up again shortly. And Jamie's just told me there's male leopard tracks heading onto Zoe's road, so I'm going to go around ahead. And of course, Jamie, I think her plan is to go look for the Queen Karula, and of course those two delightful little bundles of joy, Shongile and Horsana. Now, as I said, there's quite a bit of rain in the air. We've got our rain covers on already. It started raining probably about half an hour before we got on the vehicles, and it's sort of been this, oh, I'm going to rain hard, oh, I'm not, it's threatening, non-threatening, threatening, non-threatening, so we'll see what happens. But we are prepared to weather a storm. Now, the camera is in its rain cover already, so if you hear any funny scuffling noises, it's Jandre operating through a rain cover. But hopefully, the animals will be out and about. So we're going to have a quick look for this male leopard, make sure his tracks haven't departed Djuma. And if we get no luck with that leopard, I think we'll go look for the Kahuna Pride, while Jamie checks on the Karula. So if it is Tingana, his general route is up onto Zoe's, and then either he heads straight south or he goes west. So we're going to cover the southern section first. While we're still in search of leopard tracks, Jamie's got them, and I'm sure she wants to say good morning.
Good morning and welcome on the Sunrise Safari. My name is Jamie. This morning I have VM on camera with me, and Brent is absolutely correct. We did indeed have leopard tracks. I'm just checking to see where they've gone. And I think it might be a really nice idea to head back to where we had Karula expected them to. I'm travelling along Zoe's road, and there's absolutely no sign of him here. And we're going to head back. So yesterday evening, at the end of the Sunset Safari, Taylor was on her way home and bumped into Tingana, and he was definitely looking very hungry. So she showed me some pictures of him, and he's still a little bit empty-bellied. So the last time we saw the big dominant male leopard of this area, he just finished mating with one of the females called Shadows, Karula's oldest daughter, and he was looking like he needed a meal. And I don't know if he didn't manage or what happened, but he's still looking particularly like he could use a good breakfast. And perhaps he decided that joining Karula for a free meal might be the way forward. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go and check and see whether or not he didn't pop out there. Now bear with me one moment, because I know that Brent is wanting to follow up on these tracks as well, and I just want to contact him on the Game Drive channel so that I can communicate to him that I've lost them. But I think they're going that way. I think they're going straight towards that kill. Brent for Jamie. There you go, you can listen to our conversation. Oh. Brent, these Nkonzo, from what I can see, don't carry on along main access. It looks as though he cut north. I'm just going to go and check that kill just in case. And there's no sign of them on Zoe's either.
Okay, copy. How many
part of planes, and then I'll head east of Buffelshoek boundary.
Copy. They might carry on along main access. They have been driven over, so they must have been from early last night, from when Taylor saw him. Here you go.
Copy.
So, nice way for us to just coordinate the search. We're going to head across and check up on Karula, and Brent's going to go a little bit further to the west. So he's essentially looping where I last had the tracks to see whether or not Tingana pops out somewhere there. This is one of his favourite patches. He often walks along Aubrey's Road, so there's a chance of him being there. I'm going to check very carefully, because he's definitely a hungry, hungry boy. So yesterday on the Sunset Safari, while we're driving along towards Gallagher Shortcut, we've been chatting for a good few days about the unpleasant smell that's been hanging around this area. And I think we finally found the source of it yesterday on the Sunset Safari. I didn't chat about it because we were caught up in Karula and the sighting with Karula, and we saw her and her little boy, and I think the little girl was somewhere there. But Viam, while we were making our way into that sighting, spotted a tail of a buffalo. A relatively fresh-ish tail of a buffalo. And I think after all of that, I'm relatively certain it was our poor injured buffalo that Taylor followed for a few days, that had a lucky escape from the lions, but unfortunately for him, didn't escape soon enough, and I think he actually succumbed to his injuries. Now there we have the answer to the strange smell, for those of you who've been wondering, the strange smell that's been hanging around Gallagher for the last week or so. The hyenas have finished him off, but they left a little piece of his tail behind. Right, back onto Karula, because I know some of you were concerned yesterday about the fact that we didn't see Shungile, her female cub. I chatted to Herbert last night, and he tells me that she was definitely there. He tracked 3 leopards crossing into that direction, in towards that kill. So she was there. It's such an awkward place that I think we just couldn't see her. And she obviously wasn't feeling as hungry as her brother. She's fair enough. He's a lot bigger than her, going through that voracious teenage stage. Okay. Right. It's a tricky spot that Karula's kill is in. I'm going to make my way in there. In the meantime, let's head across to Brent, who's got the first mammal of the morning.
Well, nothing quite like starting your morning with a few heifer lumps. So, a little breeding herd of elephants. I can only see 3 at the moment. I'm trying to see if I can hear a few more. Oh, that one's got an itchy bottom on the other side of the road. So forward a bit. Oh, of course. Here we go. Well, he stopped scratching his bottom. He was using the closest combretum. Little boy. Oh, there we go, you can see some more in the background. So more than 3. Now it's quite interesting to watch their food choice now that we've had a little bit of rain. It hasn't changed that much. So that tiny bit of rain hasn't really helped the Ellies too much. And there is some flush on certain tree species, when the grass isn't long enough for them to pluck, although they have been trying. But still the majority of their diet is made up of trees and bushes. You can see, there we go, look at it. Sniff, 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 sniffing. Remember, this is a live African safari, and you can ask us questions about what we're seeing on the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or pop an email to questions@wildearth.tv. Now we can actually hear there's quite a few around us. Sarah in Georgia is asking about those right there. What are those blooming flowers? And wait as Jean-Ray gets a bit closer. There we go. It is the baboon's tail. Almost always one of the first to flower at the end of the dry season. And so the baboon's tail is a type of lily. And there's literally areas of Djuma where the floor is covered in those beautiful flowers. And you can see not much eats them. More insects and things like that. You don't really find elephants or any other large mammals partaking in baboon's tail. The birds seem particularly chirpy this morning as well. They're enjoying this warm, muggy weather. Oh, there's a big tick on the back of her ear. And as she flapped her ear, we saw there's one of those big, large ticks. Of course, now she's not flapping her ear. Taunting you, Jean-Ray. There we go. There it is. You can see the tick. Right on one of those big blood vessels in her ear. So those ticks, once they become really, really full, and they will actually just pop off and drop off and go digest or lay eggs. Jean-Ray, of course, likes to walk and is the walk cameraman. So I'm sure Jean-Ray will get to meet lots of that is ticks babies throughout the year as they eat him. Speaking of babies, and far cuter than a baby tick, is of course a baby elephant. It's probably, just under a year old. Now, Anna-Marie says the Ellies match the grey weather perfectly. That they do, Anna-Marie, but I think we might be in luck and the grey weather might be on its way out, because we've got some very pink candy floss-like clouds above us and one patch of blue sky. And there's almost no wind this morning, so very still. Actually, elephants are probably spread out, from what I can hear, about over a kilometre. I saw some on the crest behind that female. I can hear them all the way down to, it sounds like, Shabam Road. So a lovely big herd. And hopefully they start moving towards a waterhole. And it seems to be general direction heading down towards quarantine. Very slowly though while they feed. So while they're feeding, I think we're going to let them be. Oh, let's watch her break that branch first. Very daintily done. And there we go. Spin it around. Remove the bark. Look at that. Okay, elephants, we got leopards to find, so we're going to keep moving along, see what else we can see. I'm pretty sure we'll catch up with this herd later. Bye, Ellies. Good morrow, Robin in San Diego. Now, Robin is wondering, does the baboon's tail flower have a scent? It does, not particularly strong scent though. There's just been enough rain here today. I've forgotten the word. There's a very fancy word for the smell of rain, although it's not actually. Thank you, there we go, genre, petrichor. And it's actually what you're smelling is the moist dust or moist sand. And it's just that wonderful smell throughout this area. The temperature seems a bit cooler up here as well. Now, Genre, do you think we're going to get wet this morning? I'm not sure. I thought we were, but I think it's going to dissipate. Of course, with a little bit of rain comes the wildflowers, and Angela in Missouri is wondering, are there any particular flowers that animals prefer to eat? Oh, from one tusked grey beast to another. Angela, I'll get to your question in a second. We've got a wonderful male warthog. Now, very distinguished looking fellow. You can see it's almost like a Victorian curled up moustache on this male warthog. There you go, he's enjoying the new flush on the grass. He's not so trusting of us. He's got wonderful sideburns. Now, often you will find warthogs will drop to their knees. And you see their front knees, you can see that quite developed there. So there's a hardened piece of skin, a pad on those front knees, that it actually starts developing in the womb. So, a special adaptation. Now, I said this was a boy. I apologize. It's a girl. And that is quite strange. She actually has 2 sets of warts when I first saw. And that is quite strange. And if you look carefully, there's that large wart next to her eye. And then she's got a smaller wart just next to the tusks. Now, normally when you see 2 sets of warts, it's a male. Maybe she's a bit confused. But you can see they are quite underdeveloped though. Or she's just got two little beauty spots. And see how she's using her nose to sniff out the tastiest treats. There we go. You can see that pad on the front of the legs I was talking about now. Quite nicely. You can see it's free of hair. Now you can see those bottom tusks or tushes. Now those are the real defensive weapons. You can see as she eats they rub up against the top two more impressive tusks. But those bottom tusks literally are sharpened every time they rub up against her top tusks. And they can almost have an edge as fine as a razor. Now, quite interestingly, warthogs, although they generally prefer grass, when I was at home, I watched them feed on carcasses quite a lot. So, a pack of wild dogs that were leaving quite a lot of meat lying around the bush, and the warthogs were taking advantage of that. Oh, and she's moving off, but I can hear something. She's a very pretty bird. Let's see if we can spot it now. Oh dear, it seems to have flown. Oh, Jean, look at that sun. There we go, look at that sunrise. Look at that cloud. Is that a cloud? Yes. Straight through. Just below center. Just the tiniest wisp of a cloud. No sunspots today. Now, in the background we can hear this. Now, in Afrikaans that is called the spookvoël, or ghost bird. And we know it better as a grey-headed bushwrack. It seems to have moved off a bit further. So we'll do the same. I will admit I quite enjoy this temperature we are enjoying this morning. It does mean it could be quite a steamy day, but it is quite nice to wake up in the morning and jump into the car without freezing. Aha! Now, a little bit later in the morning, I'm definitely going to be checking a lot of these trees. Now, it is, of course, the weeping boerbean, and they have started flowering. And they do... Oh, there we go, that's what I was actually going to look for, but they've already attracted sunbirds. Let's just... Oh, and some babblers. So up a little bit, John. No, just a little bit higher. Just keep coming. There we go. To the right, here is also a starling actually drinking out of the Cape glossy starling, taking advantage of the very sweet nectar of the weeping boerbean. But these flowering trees attract an incredible array of species. Now, if you go up and slightly where that movement was, a little bit. Now, this is going to... they're very fast moving. Look, there we go. A Mariko sunbird. Oh, now, as I said, they're very fast moving. They are very pretty. He's to the left slightly. Right, in that far sort of, there we go, in that bunch. Oh, there's a sunbird argument, but they're arguing at high speed. So I've been saying we've been trying to get at least 5 species of sunbird in one drive, which is quite the challenge, but we will keep trying. There's that Cape glossy starling, and there's a crested barbet to the right also. Now, the crested barbet probably has to open up the flowers with that massive beak to get to the succulent nectar. And the tree produces in such large amounts that it actually drips out of the flowers. I thought I heard something there, but alas, not. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be stopping at every flowering bourbean at the moment. There's literally amazing amounts of stuff that can be found on them while they're flowering. Now, also they'll attract certain animal species, like baboons and monkeys, who really love the flowers of a bourbean, and underneath them you'll often get Nyala and butterfly or moth flew right into us. But we'll find Nyala and bushbuck who really will take advantage of how messy a feeder the primates are. So as the monkeys and baboons feed and they drop a lot of those flowers down, there's quite a few species that will actually stay underneath and eat. Now, they don't only do it for the weeping bourbean, they do it for sausage trees as well as jackalberries. Now we're going to keep searching, see what else we can find in this glorious early summer wonderland. But it sounds like Jamie's hunt has been successful. Let's go have a look.
How lucky are we? Look who is still here, and guess what? Both little cubs are with the Queen of Djuma. So there you go, those of you who were missing little Shungile, she is here. We can't get a view of her at the moment, but she is around. And there, of course, is the Queen of Djuma, Karula. What a fantastic way to start off a morning. And her being the clever girl that she is, she's actually taken the kill from yesterday. Oh, hold on, here comes Hosanna, the little boy. Gonk. Hello, Mom, let me headbutt you. I see Karula's still in a mood. She was in a little bit of a mood yesterday, and it seems to still be the case today. Hello, little boy. She wants to get to breakfast first. There she goes. Up the tambuerti tree towards her kill. Oh, big stretch. Oh. Fair enough. Oh, she's so cross today. I think we'll make sure to give Karula plenty of space Her bad mood has persisted, and she's not interested in the playful attentions of her little boy. She wants breakfast. Oh, I'm so, so glad that they're still here. Hello, you. What's Mummy up to? Oh, that face. I said this yesterday, but it's still, I cannot believe how big they've gotten. It's amazing. Here we go. He's going to go up and try and join her. Is her bad mood going to prevent it? I think he's taken the sensible course of action for now and decided that actually maybe it's not worth Mom being terribly unimpressed with him. Oh, maybe not. And lying down in exactly the same spot Mom was in. I cannot believe how lucky we are to get to sit and watch moments like this. I can't believe it's the same cubs that we were watching when they were just a few months old. Just a couple of weeks old, actually. Unbelievable. And she's actually made my life a great deal. Oh, hold on. I think you should just let Mom eat, little one. I don't think she'll be terribly impressed with you if you come and try and muscle in. And let's face it, we all know that you ate most of it. Oh, beautiful. I am very, very glad we made the long journey into the sighting. Little sideways turns of his head. Please can I come and eat? I'm a growing boy. I'm hungry. Yesterday on the sunset safari, he sat and munched away for a considerable period of time, far more so than Karula did. And I think in the end he actually got most of her meal. Okay, no. Go fetch your sister. Come on. We haven't seen her properly in ages. No sign of Tingana, by the way, the potential father of these little cubs and the leopard we were tracking earlier. Go fetch your sister. Yes, I know she's there. Go get her. Look at them. Look at him. He looks like an adult leopard. He's lost all the baby shape to his face and to his body. Now it looks like a little miniature. I think she's right there. She's just out of view. Somewhere just up there. The Shungile has always been the shyer of the two. We never get to see her as much as we get to see him. In the meantime, the Queen enjoys her royal breakfast. Not terribly much left, so thank goodness we arrived when we did, because I don't know how much longer they're going to be here. Using her carnassial shear to bite through little bits of bone. Now as Karula looks across at her little offspring, at her little cubs, Jason, you wanted to know how far I think that that Hosana might travel once he has dispersed away from Karula. It's impossible for us to say. It depends on where there is a vacuum. It depends very much. I mean, Shimambalana hasn't moved terribly far. He's just a couple of kilometers away from where we are now. Neither has Quarantine, actually. But leopards have been recorded dispersing, male leopards have been recorded dispersing from KwaZulu-Natal all the way to the Kruger National Park, which is it's a good couple of 100 kilometers. So it really does just depend upon where that particular leopard happens to find some space. And for Karula, that's not terribly much her concern. She has to get him to that point, and after that, where he goes and what he does is his own business. Bit of bone. Oh, I thought she saw something. Oh, Robin, I actually wanted to draw attention to it, but I've been sitting just waiting and letting us enjoy this sighting. We've got a lovely, lovely dawn chorus this morning. All of the birds chirping away. The one that you're hearing most loudly, the one that goes, is a southern boo-boo, and we hardly ever get to see them or put them on camera. It'll probably be somewhere just out of view. I'm waiting for it to pop out so that we can show it to you. And there's also a white-browed scrub robin singing, and then my game drive channel, which is singing away in my ear. I've been trying to call in the fact that we've got the leopards, but it hasn't stopped since I arrived here. So that's part of my dawn chorus, but luckily not yours. So the loudest bird you will be hearing is a southern boo-boo, and I'll show you. Oh no, I won't show you a picture because I didn't bring my book because I thought it was going to rain. Sorry, I won't show you a picture of a southern boo-boo. I'll have to show you the southern boo-boo itself. Did you know that, Karula, that was a southern boo-boo? I don't think she's terribly concerned. On the southern side. Okay, copy. There's hardly any Nyala left. I'm not sure if she'll be here much longer. I'm just chatting to Taxon and Aubrey and letting them know that if they do want to come... Affirmative, and both Buntuans are visible on the southern side, just up on the crest. Copy, I'll keep you updated if she does move. Sorry everybody, just letting Taxon know, because Taxon of course has guests that are long-time viewers of our live safaris, and as you can imagine they are exceptionally excited to see the Queen of Djuma. I'm just letting Taxon know that the sighting is massively improved on yesterday, where it was very, very difficult to get around and to see them. But our lovely Queen has decided to make life a little bit easier for us. And, clever girl that she is, has protected her kill from marauding hyenas. Awesome. And we often talk about the fact that, and occasionally we even see white leopard scat, and we talk about the fact that although they don't quite have the bone crushing ability that hyenas do, they do eat small shards of bone. And yesterday when we saw Karula, I think one of the reasons behind her bad mood was she had a particularly upset stomach, and that was probably from eating shards of this bushbuck's bones. Now generally when they catch something like a steenbok or a deka or even a baby warthog, the leopard will eat all of it. Hooves, jaw, skull, everything they're capable of crunching. But for something slightly larger like this bushbuck, they just crunch away at the sort of thinner, smaller bones, the edges of the ribs, a little bit around the joints. And Ken, welcome to the Sunrise Safari. I'm so glad that you have a chance to see this incredible sight in front of you. I love it when she looks straight at us. It's incredible. Now, Ken, you want to know how old they are? Karula is about 12, nearly 12 and a half now. Sorry guys, Taxon's just trying to get hold of me. Ken, hold off 1 second. I'm going to tell you about the cubs in 1 moment. Tax, maybe if you come from that 2-track that runs off Gallagher shortcut, perhaps there's a way in from there. I haven't tried. For now, Tax visuals 5-5 from down in the Shkova. So Tax is just trying to decide which way he goes, which way he should go in terms of getting the best possible view for his guests, because yesterday they didn't have the best sighting of all of the cubs. So Ken, she is 12 years old, nearly 12 and a half. That makes her not old for a leopard. What's she looking at? Such an intense look. What's wrong, girl? Okay, relaxed again. Her cubs, that I'm going to reposition in a moment to get you a chance to see, once Karula decides to shift around. Her cubs are 8 months old on the 2nd of October. And it's very, very rare that we know the exact birth dates of leopard cubs, but it just so happens that we noticed Karula behaving strangely when they were born, and Brent went back the next day into a drainage line and saw them when they were only a couple of hours old, which is incredible. That is one of those rare, rare things. I have never seen leopard cubs newly born. It's something that is exceptional and so incredibly lucky. There's still quite a lot of meat, actually. I'm surprised. I didn't realize. I'm happy to see that. It might keep her occupied for a considerable period of time. Oops. At least her table manners are better than the lion's. Jason, one of the things that I was going to do after checking up, if these leopards weren't here, is to go and check whether or not they'd gone for a drink at Gallagher Pan. So yes, it is likely that even during the day they will go and have a drink after a meal like this. Yummy. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. So Jason, yes, leopards are curious things. They're actually active. Most of my leopard sightings, I think if I did a tally, at least 50% of my leopard sightings would be random encounters right in the middle of the day. They'll head across even during the day, and although leopards don't need to drink, they do like to drink. What are you up to? What's going on? Sorry, hold on one moment. I'm taking my earpiece out. Is that the cubs playing?
He's Dixon.
Is he coming from the south?
Mm-hmm.
Ah. Interesting approach. Okay, sorry. So yes, they'll go and drink at any time of the day. They don't need to drink, but they do like to drink when there's water available. What did you see? One of the cubs coming down?
Yeah, but...
Gone into a difficult patch. Should we go backwards a little bit?
doubt we'll see her. I don't think we'll see her.
Okay. So VM just spotted one of the little cubs moving into the drainage line. And... well done, Tax. It is Taxon. I'm most impressed. Oh, it's Aubrey.
Get down.
Oh, there's Nyala. Uh-oh. That's incredible. So why is everything running? Yeah, come more. Wild dogs. There's wild dogs in the sighting. Unbelievable. Oh, it's going after the Nyala. It's a standoff. Little Nyala doesn't have anywhere to go. And he's basically playing ring around the rosy. I don't believe this. Where did you come from? I wondered why that Nyala was so panicked. Unbelievable. Karula's watching when they're going, let's go find them. Sorry, Karula. Let's go find these wild dogs. Steph was chatting yesterday about the fact that I have the weirdest, randomest luck when it comes to sightings. I don't believe this. Let's just go see. I wonder if they caught that in Nyala. I think they might have. They were so close. That's why the little cubs raced off. They obviously knew something we didn't. And that's why Karula's been on edge the whole time. I wondered... There they go. Hold on. Sorry guys, I've got to listen to my Game Drive channel now. Here goes the bouncing wild dog. Unbelievable. And they're off. Once again. They got it. They got the Nyala. There they go, they've got it. Oh, poor little thing, you didn't really have a chance, did you? Oh, shame. It's a tiny little Nyala. And that's it, gone. Unbelievably quick. That's incredible. Oh, what an incredible morning. It's unbelievable. These wild dogs just have the most incredible way of showing up. Now, for those of you who are sensitive, I'm sorry, this has happened so quickly, I didn't even have a chance to warn you. But if you are sensitive, please don't watch what's happening right now. Although already I can tell you that this Nyala's death was very quick. I can hear the squeaking of the wild dogs. I'm going to reposition now that we've had a chance to see them. It's basically almost finished, and they're going to be up and running in just a few moments. The amazing thing about Wild Dog is that their ability to scoff incredibly quickly and then just move on to the next thing, because their metabolisms run so high and they are such efficient hunters. Hi guys, well done. I'm going to stop here so you can hear the sounds. You can see their excitement of the tails up. And pulling it apart. And that entire carcass is gone in less than, what's it, 5 minutes? Less than that, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Unbelievable. I think this is the 3 of them, the dispersal pack from the lower Sabi pack. But we've got to be careful of making that assumption. So for those of you who are taking screenshots or who are still watching, please take screenshots and send them through to #SafariLive of all of them, all three of them. Ideally the left side, but right side is fine. One female and two males, I think. Or is it two females and one male? The male's got it. No, it's two males and a female. Our stations come along that 2-track. They are on the northern side. They've got a Nyala bumper. Their tails up, wagging. Very, very excited about the fact that they've got breakfast. Shame, not a good morning for that poor little Nyala. It did not stand a chance. But an amazing morning sighting for us. Now, for those of you that get or are concerned about Karula, I'm going backwards now. Please don't be, or her cubs. It is not the first time we've seen a sighting where wild dogs have come running in and encountering leopards, and the cubs have been straight up into a tree and safely there in no time at all. So we don't need to worry that these animals are no longer a threat to Karula's cubs. They're big enough and old enough to look after themselves. I wonder, it's amazing we've had encounters of this nature with these wild dogs. The Lower Sabi pack. They dispersed all the way from a pack that is in the southern Kruger, and unfortunately the rest of their pack succumbed to an outbreak of canine distemper, which is one of the things that has made wild dogs one of the most endangered species that we get out here. So for those of you who are joining us, these are one of the most endangered, in fact the second most endangered carnivore in Africa. And I'm so, so glad that you've got a chance to see them. Every single moment that we spend is a gift. Oh, no, that's not going to be very yummy. Ugh. Yuck. Stomach contents. Look at that. This is a wonderful thing about wild dogs, is they don't fight over food. They beg. They play the submissive game. Whoever can be more submissive actually wins. Now that squealing, high-pitched squealing is flat and down, is a wild dog behaving submissively, and basically a begging behavior that stems all the way from puppyhood. Here comes the third one with its snack, with its lunchbox. Now, I said that Nyala's death was quick. It was so quick. Tamira, you wanted to know if it's true that wild dog eat their prey alive. Sort of, yes. But in a way, it's actually much, much faster. I'm not sure, Tamira, if you witnessed that lion kill, or if you have ever witnessed one of our live lion kills, or perhaps you couldn't witness it. It is one of the slowest processes. It is, especially with something that large, whereas with wild dogs, they essentially grab their prey, and it sounds terrible. They tear it limb from limb and immediately eviscerate it, but it's actually, in a way, it is quicker than death by one of the big cats. It's not slow strangulation. And in the space of 2 seconds, these wild dogs have caught and killed that Nyala and started feeding. So yes, in a way it is true that they eat their prey alive. So does everything out here. Lions definitely do, leopards do as well. Sometimes leopards play with their food. They're not governed by the same moral choices. Morning! I'm just saying good morning to Tax and his guests, who look positively flabbergasted at their luck. There's nothing left. They are such amazingly efficient predators. Now, unlike our leopards and our lions, if a leopard had been spotted by those Nyala as the wild dog had been, there is no way that the leopard would even think about trying to catch it. These wild dogs have such a different hunting approach, coursing through the bush, using those massive radar ears to locate their prey, and then just chasing them down. They are fast and they have such incredible stamina. They're positively tireless. I still can't believe we had wild dogs rush into that sighting. This is becoming a bit of a thing now. Surprise wild dogs in the morning. They just show up out of nowhere. And they'll cover many, many kilometers during the day. Not during the hottest part of the day, but on a cool morning like this, I wonder how far they've traveled already. This probably isn't even their first kill of the morning. Oh, sorry, buddy. No. No, that's not going to be nice. Not going to be nice at all. So this is a dispersal pack, which means that they, I think it is anyway, which means that they actually haven't reproduced this season. But most of our wild dog packs actually have pups around and about in different areas. Oh, look, that one's got an injury, actually. That was probably during the... Or is it just a little bit of blood that's... No, I think it's just a little bit of blood that's come from the kill. I don't think it is an injury. So a lot of the wild dogs packs have actually had puppies, which of course any population boost for these amazing animals is an absolute boon. We haven't seen any pups yet. They didn't den on our Traverse area, but apparently they are starting to move around with the packs. So I'm sure all of you looking forward to seeing wild dog puppies once again as the Investec pack and the Sabi Sands pack move back into our lives. I've commented a lot about the speed with which these wild dogs have finished off the kill. Lind, you wanted to know whether or not I think the wild dogs will get sick because they bolt down their food so fast. And of course, when we're kids, we're always told not to eat too fast or we'll make ourselves sick. Well, some of us don't always listen, but that's a different story. No, it won't make them sick. It is what they're adapted to. Their stomachs are adapted to deal with it. They have to do it. But interestingly enough, on the subject of being sick, if they had pups, or if there was an injured or a more submissive member of this pack, they would actually go and regurgitate the meat. It's the way that they... One of those incredible things about wild dogs, they actually transport food for other members of the pack, particularly the mother of the pups and the pups themselves. And if they did have an active den site, they would go out hunting, run back with stomachs full of food, because that's the safest way to transport it. Rather than trying to drag it or carry it, they run back with a stomach full of food, the pups all come running out, and they go up to the individuals and they beg, and the dogs automatically respond by regurgitating their food. And then the pups can eat them. And it's something I've got to see many times, and it's incredible to witness. It's the wonderful thing about these wild dogs. They might look like fearsome predators now, with their faces full of blood and eating intestines, gross. But their pack structure and the way that they interact with each other, I think, is one of the most beautiful things in nature. Only the alpha female and male breed. The whole pack is sort of geared towards helping her and helping them survive. And I love the fact that a lot of their interactions are governed not by aggression, but by submissiveness. Think about what a lion kill looks like when the lions first make it. Think about how they fight over it. Wild dogs are the opposite. Now, Arathusa, while our wild dogs attempt, I think I'm wrong. I think this isn't their first. I think this is their first meal. Arathusa, yes, that is why they eat so quickly, to avoid the attentions of other scavengers, to make sure that they don't come through and steal their prey. Now, guys, at some point we are going to have to leave this sighting. There are other vehicles on the way. I'm just going to jump onto the Game Drive channel quickly. Our station on standby 1 from a Dutch for Jamie. Okay, copy. What's your position? Copy. When you get to the entrance to the 2-track, just let me... Actually, when you start making your way along the 2-track, just let me know. I'll pull out for you. Sorry, guys. It's It's only fair to let other vehicles in as well. Alright. I would reposition, but I actually can't right now, so I'm just going to go forward a little bit and see if we can't get a view from around here. What an exciting way to start a morning. I don't believe it. Liam, I think it's you. It might be you that brings the wild dog luck.
But I'm awake now.
I'm awake too. I'm definitely awake now. I have to say, this morning was a sort of not a rough start, but just a relatively slow start for all of us at camp. And this has definitely jolted us into wakefulness. When I say these animals are endangered, when I say that they are rare, there are less than 500 in South Africa. That is how rare they are. There are easily tens of thousands of lions, leopards, even rhinoceros are over at least 10,000 in terms of population. There are less than 500 in the country, and probably less than 4,000 in Africa. They really truly are a very special species, and a species that has been on the brink of extinction a few times. And they're such beautiful animals with their Mickey Mouse ears. I can't wait until we start to see the pups again. Now, Arathusa, you were wondering, if we had packs of wild dogs, in order to help the population, whether or not the Sabi-San would considering attempting to introduce 2 packs together to essentially aid breeding, to introduce them to each other, help them find each other. And the answer is probably not, no. In smaller private reserves, in closed systems, this is an open system, it's a massive open area. In a smaller system, yes, it's possible that different wild dogs would be introduced, although it's very difficult to do. You've kind of got to let them, because they don't necessarily form a pack all that easily. You kind of got to let them figure it out for themselves. That whole process is, I wouldn't say it's not well understood, but it's definitely, in a way, we're very bad at doing it ourselves, or artificially engineering packs. It can be done, but for the most part, in an open system like this, where we've got a big population, and I mean, the population here numbers about over 190, hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know exactly what toll the death of the Lower Sabi pack had on the population, but we have got new pups, so no. They probably wouldn't in this system, because they've got enough space, they've got enough members of the population to move about and find their own buddies. And going back towards Karula, again, as I said, they're not a threat to her at all. She'll be absolutely fine. She's not a threat to the cubs either. What a bizarre way to go about her morning. I wondered why that Nyala didn't even blink at the fact that there was a leopard in the tree. I wondered why it went racing past. It almost knocked Karula out of the tree. That's a very good point for him. I wondered. It didn't even alarm call. It just kept running. Okay, guys, now the sightings are converging between the leopards and the wild dogs. I'm going to just stick back a little bit to let Taxon and Aubrey go in first, because ideally the leopard sighting in that drainage line is only a 2-vehicle sighting. So if it comes down to it, because I've been here the longest, it will be my turn to leave. Everybody duck! Watch your heads! Now the animals, I just want to get hold of Brent. I just want to double check where these wild dogs are going, and then I'm going to get hold of Brent. Yep, they're already on the southern side. They've gone straight towards where the cubs were. As I said, not a threat. Those cubs are a little bit worldly wise. Okay, we're going to try and figure out the logistics of this situation. So for now, I'm going to send you back over to Brent. I'll catch up with you very shortly.
Oh, hello. It seems like you're having all the fun with Jamie this morning. So Jean and I have come to look for the Nkomas. And you can see they've come for a drink here. Now, probably early last night. There's a bit of drying at the base of the tracks, but not too much. So that's a little cub track, and adult tracks as well over here. And they've gone into what seems to be their home now between Hyena Road and Gowrie Cutline. So we're going to head down Hyena Road, see if they didn't change their mind, and then head around and check Gowrie Cutline. Now, I haven't heard any alarm calls, and I haven't heard any cubs yet. So hopefully that changes shortly. But the one thing is for certain is that the rain has gone away. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't jealous of the wild dogs this morning. Jamie? You looking for me? Copy, thanks. Can you confirm exact last position of the Nkomas yesterday? Okay, so I'm just trying to find out exactly where they were. I know they were in this area, but for me the most fresh tracks are heading northwest. Oh! Copy, thanks. Obviously, I'm on Hyena Road. Okay. So, of course, at the moment, we've got quite a few honeymoon couples that are around with the lions. Well, Amber and Snarl, what's it, old Fang with this split lip. And then, of course, Hole in the Face. And the youngest lioness. But while we keep checking around for these lions, let's go back to my favorite animal with Jamie.
Shame. The only thing that I feel is a pity this morning is that Brent wasn't with us, because we know how excited he gets around wild dogs. And our wild dogs are slowly moving off into the thick bush, and I think we're going to keep trying to stay with them, but I can't cross, so I'm just waiting for Taxon to get to the other side. Oh, they're going straight towards Galagopan. I'm hoping that we actually might be able to catch up with them as they go and drink. Karula's still in her tree. I'm going to go down a little bit so we can see her now that the wild dogs have moved off, but I am definitely going to have to leave this sighting. Oh, I wondered why we weren't going anywhere. Handbrake. There's Karula. I wonder where her cubs are. She knows they're safe. She knows the first thing they would have done is shoot up into trees and find themselves a safe spot. Nope, she's had it. This is just far too much trouble. Sorry guys, that's my fault. My car's rolling forward. Right, she's up, she's off. Thoroughly unimpressed with her morning. It's exciting for us. Karula's not terribly happy with the whole process. It's always interesting how trusting these animals are that their cubs are fine. We automatically, from a human perspective, we'd think that she'd immediately go rushing forward to where the wild dogs were, calling. But she's no fool. She knows, first of all, that she's taught the cubs all they need to know about surviving these situations. And she also knows there's no point at putting herself at risk. going closer to where the wild dogs were. So off she goes. What do? Wild dogs? Do we go to wild dogs? Do we go to Karula? Do we go to wild dogs?
You gotta go check out the kill.
Oh, the wild dogs have moved very fast, and they're moving through not very fast, but they're moving through very thick bush. She's checking out. She's going to check out the kill. That's amazing. You're right, Viam. Can do this backwards. Whoa, big tree. She's gone straight to where they killed that Nyala. Unbelievable. Oh, look, she stole it. She's running off with the kill. You clever girl. This is incredible. How amazing is that? There she goes. She's already on the other side of the drainage line wall. That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it's done. I'm so impressed with her. She's incredible. Such a clever girl. Leopards are such opportunists. Where are these cubs? I can't believe this. I know that Mike, just by the way, on the subject of the wild dogs, I'm so glad we stuck with Karula though, but on the subject of the wild dogs, they are heading straight. She's unbelievable. You are such a clever girl. I will reposition that for now. We've got a little bit of a view. She's already up the tree with her kill. Or should I say the wild dog's kill? Why, yes, I will have 2 breakfasts. Thank you.
Nyala bushbuck buffet.
Yes. Nyala and bushbuck buffet, says Viam. Unbelievable. You clever, clever girl. These are moments in the bush that you don't often get to see. Incredible. There's the cub. You see it at the top of the tree. Where is it? There it is. There we go. Hey, see? I told you they were fine. Little spotted cat right up in the top of the tree, away from the wild dogs. Hey, little one. It's quite the morning you've had. It's okay. Finally we get a chance to see little Shungile, and she's right up at the top of a tree. It's okay, girl, you can come back down. I think they're gone. Or perhaps she can see things that we can't. What an amazing morning. Unbelievable. Now, James Richards, you were wondering, you wanted to refresh your memory about the radius of sightings in terms of when they're 2 separate sightings and when they are 1. It's different. It depends on... She's back down. Sorry, I will answer that in a moment. I'm just trying to listen to the Game Drive channel. Poor Mike wants to find the wild dogs, but he says he can't hear any vehicles, but that's because none of us are moving. Which is... where's she going? Sorry, James, I'm distracted because it's been such an incredible morning. I will answer you in a moment. I just want to see what she's doing. I can't believe it. I think she's going back for more. I think she's going back to see if she can find more. She is. That's what she's doing. Slinking back up. While her daughter's stuck up a tree, she's going grocery shopping. So James, it's in terms of separate sightings, it's dependent on a couple of things. The animal, it's not governed by a set radius. So in that sighting, I would consider it to be one sighting. The wild dogs were never far enough away. They were probably at their furthest about 100 meters away from Karula. It's particularly sensitive with 2 cubs involved, and you've got to be very, very careful about the way that you'd handle it. In terms of not interfering with their senses. Should we go follow her, or do you think she's going to come straight back? I think she's going to come straight back. For now, Shongile is about to jump, or thinking about coming down out of the tree. I'm going to go forward a little bit. Hold on, Via. I'm just going to try get you a slightly better view. So you're usually looking at a situation where 2 sightings are separate when you can't see the other animal from one sighting, if that makes any sense. So, for example, if you've got, I thought she was going to come down. No, just finding a bottom rest, little seat. So if I was sitting in the sighting with Karula and I couldn't see the other vehicles going towards the wild dogs, that's when it would be a separate sighting. But it is situation dependent, and it's up to the person in charge of the sighting, which in that case would have been me, or was me, to make sure that people don't come streaming in from all directions. Where are you, Karula? I'm sure she's coming back. I'm sure she will be. Just goes. Do you see the male? Cool. Liam's eagle eyes have spotted the male cub. Oh yes, well done. A bit further. You'll get him. Well done. Sorry, I'm just holding the vehicle still. Watching Mom now. This is incredible. Well done, Liam. And just look at that light. Jason, you're wondering, did Karula steal that leopard kill? Where is she? Is she coming through? On her way back. There she comes. Did Karula steal the wild dog kill because there's more meat on it? And if so, why did the wild dogs abandon it? Yes, there's still meat on it, and it's differences in approach to eating. So wild dogs, we spoke about how they scoff. They don't spend too much time around a kill before they move off. It's one of their defensive strategies to make sure that they don't come into major conflict with scavengers. So they move off as soon as they've eaten as much as they can. They don't spend time in the way that Karula was doing. What you got there, girl? Yummy. More breakfast. Amazing. She's going to pop up into this tree again. Or is she going to... I think she's settled in the drainage. No, there she goes. Oh, look at that shot. That's incredible. You're such a clever girl. Maybe I'm biased, but I actually think that Karula's very, very clever. More so than your average leopard. I don't know what it is. But I suppose all leopards would behave opportunistically. So the wild dogs didn't finish it off because they don't. They just generally don't. But she can go and fetch it, take it into a tree, and then eat it at her leisure. So she can spend a longer time stripping away meat from the bone and getting the scraps. It's kind of like the difference between white-backed vultures and hooded vultures in a weird way. So hooded vultures will eat as much of the kill as they can, but they're not really geared towards getting at the little bits of meat that are attached to the bone. And the hooded vultures are like the toothpicks of the bush with their thin beaks, and they can come and finish off the bits in between the joints and the ribs. Karula can just eat at her leisure. And her teeth are, they're not that, her jaw strength's not greater than the wild dogs, but it's just the fact that she can sit with her carnassial shear and scrape. I don't know, I don't even want to know what bit that is. I'm glad we made a decision to stay with Karula because it's next to impossible for us to follow, or it would have been next to impossible for us to follow those wild dogs. Bear with me one moment, since we have got a view of these leopards. I just need to chat to Mike, who I believe was coming to the sighting. Mike for Jamie. Mike, are you trying to follow up on those Madach, or are you wanting to come to these Ingwe? No, it's still the same lock. The two Bantuans are on the southern side of the Shkova, and you can't cross the Shkova. You either have to come in from the south or the north. Aubrey and myself are here on the north, Tax is on the south. Karula looking across. Little ones coming down. Whoop! 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 The sideways approach. Oh, look at you. Aren't you just the picture of grace? Isn't that incredible? Karula's actually going to greet her. Now she's going to go and check up on her. Okay. Come across, little one. It's okay. Wild dogs have gone. Come on. Oh. Well, that was the theory. Where'd she go? Here's Karula. I thought they were going to have a... Oh, there she comes, there she comes. There you go, little one. Oh, isn't she beautiful? Huh. Not quite the affectionate greeting I was expecting. Little one's just interested in more breakfast. Look, go see what your mom got for you. There's a Nyala or bushbuck. Nah. Not quite a meal fit for a princess. On to the next. Going to investigate what Mom brought home from the shops. I'm glad to see she is full-bellied, even though we haven't had a chance to see the female feed up until now. And it's just because she's doing the little female thing of showing quite a bit of independence. She's often separate from Mom. And Christopher, that brings us to your question, which is, when will leopard siblings separate from each other? And it depends on their genders, because the females often disperse from their mothers sooner than the males. So if it's a female-male litter, then at about just over a year and a half, the females often spend a lot of time apart from their families. Sorry, guys. Just too much chatter on the Game Drive channel. So if it's a female, as I said, then she will disperse earlier, and therefore they'll separate earlier. If it's two males, they will separate around the time when they become independent, at around 2 years old or just over. But that being said, you occasionally encounter them together still. So they'll separate, and then, because they spend their first few months of their independence in their mother's territory, or close to their mother's territory, on familiar ground. Have you got a leg? Oh! I think there was a slight miscalculation there. I don't think she realized how attached that particular leg was. Ah, okay. Perhaps this will do. The pelvis of the Nyala. If it's two females, then they will separate a little bit earlier. since they both become independent earlier. This is gorgeous. She hasn't quite kept her brown eyes that she was born with, but they're still an interesting colour. I was hoping they'd stay a deep golden brown, because it's very rare to see a chocolate brown-eyed leopard. But they've slightly lightened in colour. She's still gorgeous though, still living up to her namesake of the beautiful one. She does have her mother's W, doesn't she, on her forehead? Now we've seen just how good Karula's cubs are at looking after themselves. Elizabeth, you wanted to know if lion cubs have the same instinct as leopard cubs to run and hide when there's danger present. And yes, they do. You'll see, although the one thing I have noticed about lion cubs, whenever they feel slightly threatened, they turn, because their mothers are much more powerful and there's more of them than a female leopard, what they'll often do is they often make a lot of noise, which leopard cubs don't do, but that's only when the mother's present. So you notice whenever they're upset about something, all of a sudden they start going ow, 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 and drawing attention to themselves. The leopard cubs do not do that. They go deathly silent. They're much more secretive. Sorry guys, I think I'm going to have to shift around. Just bear with me one moment. I'm going to have to let Aubrey out of the sighting. But when lion cubs are on their own, then yes, absolutely, lion cubs will run and hide. They don't climb trees though. They go and search for the safest spot. Let's see if I don't want to leave Shungila. I'm not going to leave her for long. I'm just letting Aubrey out. Let's see if Hosanna's still in the tree. Yes, he is. I see 2 dangling feet. Yes, little prince. Here he is. Let's play spot the feet. Almost as big as his mother's. In fact, they might even be nearly as big as his mother's. Well done, little ones. He's decided to have a nap after his scary sighting, or after his scary morning. Sleepy little boy. Sorry guys, I'm just listening to the Game Drive channel. Okay, let's go back to Shungile. It's a lovely sighting of the little boy, but we did spend a lot of time yesterday with him. And it doesn't feel like we've spent nearly as much time with his sister. I think let's go back and enjoy. Now we can take Aubrey's spot. And then at some point we are going to have it. I know I keep saying this, but people keep changing their mind about when they're going to get to the sighting. But when there is somebody on their way, then I will leave. But every time I say I have to leave, somebody else decides they're going to wait around a little bit to see if the wild dogs come back.